is a remarkable finish.
Burke goes for the corner and Leah Burke's in. And it's Tamsin Renew. The pass from Holly Dodd.
And this could be the first goal of the game because London are going to get them and touch down. He's gone for the same ball and it's going to work.
Beautiful.
They might score the winner. And North Wales have another.
Brings it up to the line, drops it off to Hazard who reaches through. Well, good afternoon and welcome to Game Day Live here on the Sportsman as we round off a cracking Easter weekend of Rugby League with another derby. It's Oldham against the Rochdale Hornets. Alongside me for this one, Salford Red Devils head coach Paul Rowley. Rolls, this should be a pretty special afternoon of a derby that's plenty of significance in this part of the world.
Absolutely, yeah. Both ambitious clubs for doing it in different ways. Obviously, Rochdale are working from the bottom here and got a young team. As Oldham, they've spent big and their ambitions are clear to see. They've put it out there, haven't they? They want promotion and, well, the public have turned out in force. There's a big crowd, the weather's good and it's a fast track, so they've got all the ingredients for a fantastic derby match.
Yeah, they're hoping for a bumper crowd inside the stadium this afternoon, and from an Oldham perspective, they'll be hoping that this squad that they've put together can deliver a performance worthy of that crowd. Rochdale, of course, hoping to upset the apple cart a little bit. Let's hear from both head coaches ahead of this derby clash. Well, Sean, derby day, Rochdale Hornets up for you guys today. A big opportunity for you guys to test yourselves in what will be a pretty good atmosphere on a good day as well.
Yeah, it's always good to play your local rivals on Easter weekend, and we're expecting a physical battle, so we need to come out and start fast.
Obviously into the thick of Betfred League One action now. What have you kind of seen from this new squad over the 1895 Cup and the Betfred Challenge Cup rounds in terms of growth?
Yeah, obviously we're a new team, come from different systems, different clubs, so I think we're going to improve every week. We started off pretty good and we had a bit of a blip in the Challenge Cup, but we dusted ourselves down and got back on track, and then just stripped it right back and just got on with the process.
And in terms of your squad, a couple of names missing, but you must be pretty pleased with the 13 you're able to put out? Yeah,
obviously we're missing Elijah Taylor and Pat Moran, but apart from that we're pretty much healthy. It's good to have Copy back. He'll lay the platform for our middles, and we can play off the back of that.
In these kind of derby games, these big games, how important is a fast start?
I think we've started pretty good in most games, and then tailed off probably in the third quarter. So we're after a good 80-minute performance. It's not going to be perfect, but just get on with it. Next job, and dust yourself down and crack on.
This almost seems like a daft question at the end of March, but this will be one of the first times we've seen your team play in dry conditions of the winter we've had. Is you looking to see a little bit more expansion today? Yeah,
for sure. But I think we've got to earn the right to play. I don't think we can just zing it around everywhere. But so we want to be a bit hard-nosed in the first 20 minutes and lay the platform for our backs, and then we can start pulling the trigger.
And obviously the 2 competition points are the most important thing for you, but in front of a big crowd today, how important is it that you put on a bit of a show as well?
Yeah, obviously you want to, the fans have been fantastic, game behind us, and we're on a journey what we're on. So yeah, I think the points will come later on in the game once we've earned the right. But yeah, it's a great day for rugby league, and there'll be some entertaining rugby being played from both sides.
Gary, big game this one, obviously a derby match, but a big test for you guys as well in terms of the rugby.
Yeah, certainly, but definitely one that we're looking forward to. Obviously Oldham have signed really, really well in the off-season, and they've made their ambitions fairly clear, so it's going to be a tough game for us, we know that, but like I said, it's a local derby and it's one certainly that we're looking forward to. We've been here once already this year, so we know what to expect. Hopefully we'll be a little bit better prepared this time, but yeah, certainly looking forward to it as a competition, as a game, definitely.
You mentioned that game in the 1895 Cup. you've taken plenty of learnings out of that experience?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, you know, I mean, we had a terrible start in that game, and we were 20 odd points down, you know, by half time. But I thought second half we came back and rallied and had a real good go. And I think, you know, 12 apiece second half. So I think it showed that once we got into the grips of the game and got into it set for set, we matched them for that second half. Like I said, we got off to a poor start. So I think we'll be looking at getting to a decent start at least today. Just make sure we stay in the game as long as we can.
And in terms of Betfred League One, you must be reasonably content with your starts this season. Obviously a win on opening day and falling just short last time out, but an encouraging performance in that.
I was really pleased with our performance away at Midlands. I thought we dug deep. You know, we started well in both games and allowed the opposition back into it, and then managed to see it through against Midlands, but fell short last week. I was disappointed last week. I thought, you know, we didn't perform as well as we did. We went from an 89% completion at Midlands to 65 last week, so I think that was evident in our performance. So I was disappointed that we let that game slip away, because as I said, in both games we started really well and got ourselves into a strong position and then let the opposition back into it. But yeah, today's, you know, going to be a different challenge completely again today. We know that, but it's a long season, isn't it? We're only game 3 in, so we know that nothing's going to be defined today, but we wanted to do ourselves justice and come here and you know, give Oldham a real good game.
And in terms of your squad, you've kind of gone deeper into your squad numbers. Obviously, Lewis Hollidge comes straight in after signing. Are you happy that the 13 you're putting out, starting out, is ready to match what will be an Oldham team looking for a fast start? I don't think it's a case of being happy. It's needs must. That's what we've got. You know, we're in a different situation to Oldham in terms of our recruitment and our playing budget. You know, we're miles away from where they are, so we have to make the most of it. But we don't use it as an excuse. You know, if somebody comes in and gets an opportunity to play, and then that's up to them. But yeah, we've got some experience missing out there. You know, we'll miss Greg and we'll miss Riddy. They were a big part of our recruitment this year to get that experience in that we didn't have last year. So, you know, we're without them again today. But like I said, it gives somebody else an opportunity, and there'll be no excuses from us. We'll go out and whatever 13, 17 take the pitch, we'll give it our best. Just finally, the weather is playing its part at the moment. There's going to be a big crowd in here. It should be a good atmosphere. How much of the kind of opening exchanges is going to be about composure and kind of controlling the event, so to speak?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's nice that it's not raining in Oldham usually, isn't it? Yeah, obviously, you know, the pitch is in fantastic condition. It's nice and firm, so it lends itself to good open rugby. It's just a case of making sure that we can capitalise on that. But I think there'll be a decent crowd here as well, local derby over Easter, so we're expecting a decent atmosphere as well, and we've just got to make sure that we play our part today, and definitely going to, you know, do what we can, take our chances and defend well and see what comes.
Well, best of luck this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Lewis. Cheers.
Yeah, Gary Thornton and Sean Long ahead of this Betfred League One round 3 clash at Boundary Park. We'll take you through the team, starting off with the home side, Oldham. They have Logan Astley at fullback. In the wings, Mo Agoro and Ben O'Keefe, with Jordan Turner and Kean Morgan in the centres. A half-back pairing, plenty of experience in there. Danny Craven and Jamie Ellis. And onto the front row with Craig Kopchak and Owen Farmworth. Now the bookends for Matty Weldy. And in the back row, Joe Wardle and Adam Lawton, adding some serious size and strength, with Jay Chappell at loose forward. And on the bench for the home side this afternoon, Jordan Parger, Ted Chappell, Josh Johnson and George Hurst. Onto the away side, Rochdale Hornets. Heard from Gary Thornton, of course, already. He lines up with Max Flanagan at fullback, Dan Nixon and Tommy Briley are the wings, of Joe Hartley and Miles Dalton Harrop in the centres. And a debut for Lewis Hollidge in the halves alongside Lewis Else. Front row of Toby Brannan, Johnny Openshaw, Luke Nelms. He's joined by Ben Forster and Connor Ratcliffe in the back row, and Dwayne Strohire at loose forward. And on the interchange bench, Emerson Whittle, Lamik Juma, Jordan Andrade, joined by Brad Brennan, who will play without a shirt number. So that's the away side. There's the two teams, Paul. They've already met each other once this season in the 1895 Cup. Oldham came out on top at that time, and when you look at some of the players on that list, it feels like it's going to be a big task for Rochdale again. Yeah, I mean, like you say, looking at the players on the list, and if you were playing this game on paper, which it's obviously not, then there's only one winner, and Oldham look far too strong. They've got a huge pack in size and stature and experience as well. And so Matty Wildy at 9, they'll be looking to get plenty of running opportunities and causing Rochdale a lot of trouble. So yeah, it looks like it's a one-way street almost to start with. But as we know, it's not played on paper, is it? It's played on grass. So it's important that Rochdale
really try and disrupt this Oldham team, unsettle this Oldham team, and build a good game and a good foundation on what they do defensively. I think will challenge Oldham, and to get a good start in this game will be really important for Rochdale.
Gary Thornton are very pleased with his side's work in the opening game away at Midlands Hurricanes. They fell just short against Hunslet in round 2, but put in another encouraging performance. He'll be hopeful. It's a derby day, anything can happen. As you say, it's not played on paper, it's played on grass. If they can make a strong start, they'll give themselves every chance.
Definitely, and Gary Thornton's a really experienced coach as well. He's been around in these leagues for a long time. He's a good coach, and he's got a knack of getting the best out of players as well. So, if Rochdale can be connected and show some enthusiasm, which they have done in these early parts of the season. So, the challenge is tough without McNally and Ridyard in there steering the ship. They're the wise old heads for Rochdale, what they've relied on so often. But, out of adversity sometimes comes opportunity. And whilst they're missing them 2 boys, there's other boys who are going to step up today and hopefully earn a contract or earn a starting spot. And really cement themselves a place in this Rochdale lineup. So, like I said before, they're an ambitious club, and they're trying to build from the bottom in the right manner, and they won't be short of enthusiasm. So it's a derby match, and as we've seen on many times before, anything can happen in a derby match.
Yeah, one of those players looking to take his opportunities, Lewis Hollidge, signed for the Rochdale Hornets this week. The Medway Dragons junior down in Kent, come through the system there. Looking forward to making his professional debut, and as you say, Paul, an opportunity to lay down a marker for that jersey going forward. So 2 teams back in the sheds, making their final preparations for this one. A really healthy crowd over in that Joe Royal stand here at Boundary Park. Brilliant to see Rugby League back at this ground. A lot of excitement about what's coming for Oldham in the months, years to follow. But this afternoon it is all about getting one over their local rivals, the Rochdale Hornets. Big test for Sean Long and his side, and a big test for Gary Thornton as well against the league's favourites. Setting up to be an absolutely mouth-watering clash here on the Sportsman. What a weekend of Rugby League we've had. Easter always seems to produce the goods from Thursday night onwards. Paul, of course, you'll be very happy with your side's work last night. What a game we've got in our hands to see the weekend out here at Boundary Park.
Yeah, like you say, it's been a great weekend, hasn't it? And I think the weather's contributed as well. It does feel like we've turned that corner. I don't want to speak too soon, and I'm touching all the wood around me here, but it feels like we've turned that corner, and the springs and the shoots of spring and summer are just there to be seen now. And as a result of that, we've seen some good rugby. The skills have improved, and everything looks a little bit better and a little bit shinier this weekend. And we're coming up with the final few derby matches of the Easter weekend, so hopefully this is matches up to what we've seen beforehand.
Yeah, I was slightly concerned that I'd put a curse on us when we interviewed the 2 head coaches and mentioned the conditions. Immediately a big black cloud came over our heads, but it seems to have passed. The sun is poking through, the surface looks immaculate. There was an amateur final on this ground yesterday, but you wouldn't be able to tell. It's a great playing surface here at Boundary Park, fit for what will hopefully be an absolute belter here on the Sportsman this afternoon. Very early days, of course, in the Betfred League One season. We've had the 1895 Cup and the early rounds of the Betfred Challenge Cup, of course, but both head coaches still learning about their side. Sean Long especially admitting this brand new squad that they've put together, taking some time to learn the system and learn each other. And a big opportunity this afternoon for them to do that in this local derby.
We were just talking about the game yesterday on the 2 local sides. I thought it was 1,800 people came to watch that, so the appetite in and around the area for rugby league and is still very much there. There's a lot of enthusiasm, and you can just feel the energy around this Oldham club at the minute. In particular, it's obviously a home game for them. It's a wonderful stadium, it's a wonderful traditional rugby stadium or feel to it. And like I said before, the appetite certainly for a strong Oldham team.
The crowd in fine voice. We were here about 6-7 months ago, of course, for the Betfred League One playoffs. Oldham fell short on that occasion. There's a long way to go until we start talking about that time of year again, of course. Oldham certainly setting their sights on taking the short route and winning this league as champions. But a big hurdle this afternoon against the Rochdale side coming into this, as we've mentioned, off the back of 2 pretty strong performances, albeit one of them in defeat against Hanslet. Gary Thornton saying he's got plenty to work with there. We mentioned some of those young players coming into this side and the opportunity that they have ahead of them this afternoon against a very experienced Oldham team. And you mentioned all the experience that Gary Thornton's got. Sean Long at the other end of his career in terms of head coaching. He's done plenty as an assistant. As the Rochdale Hornets take to the field to a pretty good reception. There's a decent band of travelling fans over in that stand, hoping to see something special. Could be a historic Easter Sunday for Rochdale if they could come here and, as we say, cause an upset against this Oldham side as we await for the home side to take the field. A real buzz and anticipation around Boundary Park as Oldham emerge from the tunnel, led by Jordan Turner. All that experience that he's got. Craig Kopchak, Adam Lawton behind him. It does feel like the first 15-20 minutes of this game, Paul. I know this is an old cliche, but the start's going to be very important, isn't it?
I think so. I think looking at the disparity on the team sheets, you know, I think it's really important, more so for Rochdale, that they get off to a really positive start and build a little bit of pressure, because ultimately that word pressure for Oldham in particular, you know, with everyone talking about the money they've spent, the ambitions that they've got, the lofty ambitions, well, you know, with that comes a whole lot of pressure and you know, time and commitment and building pressure through what you do defensively. Well, you know, that's the way to see some cracks in this Oldham team. So, like you say, the start's imperative for Rochdale, more so than Oldham, I feel. And like I said, pressure's a key word today.
Well, there's fantastic noise coming from that stand opposite us, but we are going to observe a minute's silence before kick-off this afternoon in memory of former Oldham player John Etty, who scored 90 tries for the club in 150 appearances in the 50s. Sadly passed away recently. Our thoughts, of course, with his friends and family. So just a drop in the crescendo for the time being as we remember the late John Etty. So there we go, impeccably observed minute silence in memory of John Etty. And now the atmosphere and the noise comes back to Boundary Park ahead of this hugely anticipated Betfred League One tie. An absolute pleasure to have you with us on the Sportsman this afternoon, rounding off what's been a fantastic weekend of rugby league football. It does feel like summer rugby is finally here. We've had to wait a very long time this year. I mentioned to Sean Long earlier, it might be one of the first times he's got to see this new look Oldham team play in the dry. A lot of excitement and anticipation about what they may be able to do in the conditions against the Rochdale team, with plenty of pace in their team as well. They've got some size in the middle. The referee not happy with the match ball that has been put out on the middle, so I think already we're going to have a change. Just slight delay to proceedings. Found a new one. So it'll be Rochdale that get first carry, and very, very important, as we've said, for them to get underway to a strong start. The last thing they'll want to do is come up with an early error, let Oldham get their tails up. But if Rochdale can get into the arm wrestle, Paul, you feel like they're right in this game.
Absolutely. The longer it goes without Oldham posting points, the better, obviously, for Rochdale. But I think Oldham will play a very direct game and really take them all up the middle, build the game around the middle.
So Danny Craven gets us underway, and it's Toby Brannan who makes that first carry. I should say, even though it is dry and there is some blue sky sun, the flags on the roof of the stand tell us that there's plenty of wind whipping around Boundary Park this afternoon, so that will come into play for the kickers and the outside backs as we go through this contest. But it's Rochdale, as we've mentioned, with first taste of the football. Openshaw at acting half, drops off a short one to the left-hand side. Rochdale making some decent progress up the right. Now perhaps an opportunity for Lewis Els to make some space, and he has done, getting into broken play and up to halfway. This is the last. It was a really good break from Els, and an opportunity early on for Rochdale to get some territory. Hollidge putting the ball high into the air, well taken from Ben O'Keefe, and then a penalty. And after an encouraging first set, really not what Rochdale wanted to come up with there.
No, like you say, it was a great play from Els, wasn't it? Really instinctive on the fourth tackle. Oldham had put kick pressure on as he ran it and churned up 20-30 metres, give him a good field position. But then obviously the penalty discipline on the first port call is really let them down there, and Oldham get the first crack. It's interesting, I think, as I'm looking at them lining up, Danny Craven was defending there as a fullback and Astley in the half-back position, so just keep an eye on that.
So Kopchak taking the carry in. I think the kick from the penalty there probably shows just what the wind's like. It seemed to hold up a little bit there from Danny Craven as Jay Chappellow carries up over halfway. Matty Wildy at dummy half. Brings us out to the right-hand side to Jamie Ellis. He drops it off to Adam Lawton. Lawton brought down 30 metres out. Now they come out to the left. Ellis again brings it up to the line. Gives it to Owen Farnworth. Farnworth met by 3 Rochdale defenders. He's brought down on the 20. Pretty central, so they come out to the left. Astley coming into the line. Giving it to Danny Craven. Wardle, apologies. It's now Craven with the ball in hand. He stabs a short kick through. Could be in here in the corner. Well dealt with in the end by the Hornets. Tommy Briley on that right-hand side, just putting it into the stand, so it'll be a goal line dropout.
That's a great kick, wasn't it, from Craven? He's, like I said, he is playing at full-back, and it is Astley who stepped into pivot role, so probably because Craven's got probably the better of the last pass at the end of shape, so they're going to sense opportunities there. But that short kicking game from Craven really applying pressure now to Rochdale and a repeat set, so already a big challenge for 5 minutes into the game.
So the dropout comes up to halfway. It's fielded by Farnworth. He brings it in up over the 40, dead central. Oldham come out to the right. Here's Kopchak, with all of that Super League experience, of course. Wales international. He's stopped just short of the 20 while he comes left. Now they look to spread it wide with Astley. Craven met well by Miles Dalton-Harrop. Player that you know well, of course, Rolls.
Yeah, well, they've actually got that the wrong way around. That was Hartley. Harrop's here on. He's got the number 3 shirt on, so as it's down on the team sheet, they've got it wrong. But it's a great read by him, nonetheless.
So Wildy brings us out to the left-hand side. Ellis brings it up to the line and then drops it off to Astley. Wardle hitting a strong line, but defended well. And now they come right. And he could be through here. Plenty of Rochdale defenders on him, just holding him up. It was Farnworth with the carry. Stopped meters short. So he will play the ball virtually from the goal line. They come out right. Ellis, could be space over here for Moagoro to go over, but it's a really good covering effort from Dan Nixon. Rochdale survived that early spell of pressure from Oldham, covering defence. The shift across was fantastic, and a go road just cut short of space.
Yeah, it's really good defence from Rochdale. We're really pleased about that. They've got the numbers right defensively. They've got up, and it's Jamie Ellis who's thrown a cut-out pass, found his second last attacker, and they've just pushed off. And again, it was Miles Harrett from the inside there before Nixon just bundled him into touch. So great defence, and again, positivity from Rochdale.
So Rochdale with the ball back in their hands for the first time in what feels like a few minutes in this game, carrying deep out of their own territory, but there's an error. And I think we're going to come back for the first knock on, so it will be Oldham ball. Opportunities to put the scrum in place dead centre and give themselves options both sides. And just like we said about that penalty, after doing a lot of good, Paul,
yeah,
Rochdale their own worst enemy on that occasion.
Exactly that. They are their own worst enemy. A discipline problem right from the start, and then obviously an error there as well. So the non-negotiables, the things that don't take talent are costing them at the minute. So you know, they've got to improve on that. That's just your basics.
So Astley brought down the right-hand side. Wildey drops it off to Farnworth. He stopped a couple of metres short. Wildey again coming out to the right-hand side. Astley in that half-back position. Pass was behind Ellis, but he brings it in and gets it to Craven. He's met by Lewis Else. And then comes to the short side again, Ellis. They could have the numbers here. He's going to go himself, Jamie Ellis, and he'll score on the right-hand side. And Oldham up and running after a few attempts at the line. Jamie Ellis keeps it in hand, does the job himself and scores on that right-hand edge. Yeah, there's a slip when we see the replay. One of the Rochdale defenders actually slips, and I think that's put the handbrake on the line speed from Rochdale. Jamie Ellis is a strong character. He's been around a long time, a lot of experience, and it's very difficult to stop near the try line. He's got a pass, he's got a kick, but his most potent attacking weapon is his running game close to the line, and as we see, he's just too strong, and it's a good left-arm fend and just crashes over. So again, we spoke before the game, it'd be a power game from Oldham, and try and break tackles and go through them, and that's what we've seen right from the off. And it all comes back to that Rochdale error. As we said, a brilliant defensive set before this, and then an error coming off their own line, giving the field position back to Oldham, and you can't afford to do that against a team like this. No,
exactly. They're too big. They're too experienced, and you know, you don't want Kopchak running at your try line too often. He's going to get them crash over tries. Lawton's going to get them tries. The try scoring players, aren't they? And like I said, they've been around a long time. So just killing themselves there, Rochdale. So at least it gives them a chance to regroup as the clock ticks to get to about 7-8 minutes and start the game again. So there was some positives, but discipline.
Ellis with the opportunity to convert his own try. It looks pretty good. It is good. The flags go up to 7.5 minutes in. We have our first points of the afternoon here at Boundary Park as Jamie Ellis scores and then converts his own try to push Oldham out to a 6-0 lead. And already, I know we've not even played 10 minutes, but it feels like it's going to be very important how Rochdale respond to this.
Yeah, absolutely. They physically look a lot smaller than Oldham, so I think the simplicity of a Rochdale game, it's a great kick-off, by the way, but if they can keep the game as simple as possible and just keep down in and try, and territory is going to be key for Rochdale. They really don't want to be sat on their heels defending their own line against this team.
Yeah, plenty of distance on that kick-off. The wind is behind Rochdale. Keir Morgan just about dealing with it. An opportunity for the Hornets to try and pin Oldham deep inside their own half as Jordan Turner offers himself up for a carry. Makes some good extra metres after the contact. Eventually brought down. Now they come out to the right-hand side and they're just rolling forward here at the moment. Oldham with Jay Chapelhout bringing them just short of halfway. Very quickly, they've got themselves out of their own territory. Wardle with the next carry. This is the last, so it won't be an attacking end of set as such, but a good platform for them to work at. As Craven puts that ball up and it's caught in the wind, it's almost gone backwards. In fact, with the bounce it has. So Jordan Turner then putting a second kick in. All a little bit scruffy, the wind playing havoc. But Rochdale getting the ball about 12 metres inside their own half, and then a penalty to boot, and an opportunity for the Hornets to give themselves their first real attacking platform of the game.
Yeah, well, like you said before, the bomb there from Craven told you everything you need to know about the wind. It's extremely strong, and you know, Rochdale would hope to use that in their favour. So it's a great penalty for Rochdale, get them the first crack at attacking Oldham now, but Oldham certainly went up the middle there, didn't they? 5 carries and churned up 60 metres, so worrying sign defensively and around the ruck for Rochdale.
So our first real opportunity to see what Rochdale can offer up going forward as Luke Nelms takes the ball in. And they come. Just a little reverse inside ball to Else. Now Hollidge, he drops it off. Jordan Turner meets him. And they're looking for that sideline, Oldham. There are plenty of players in there, but the Hornets do well, and they get another penalty. And an opportunity to reset in even better field position. There's some encouraging signs here.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that penalty, to be honest. It looked like the tackle was still moving to me, but nevertheless, it's another opportunity for Rochdale. Time's still ticking, 10 minutes now to get another crack, build some fatigue into this Oldham team.
So open short, brings us out to the left-hand side to Else. He brings it up to the line. Harrop brought down about 8 metres short. And now a drop-off ball to Luke Nelms. He's eventually stopped 3-4 metres away from the try line. They come to the short side. Else again bringing it up to the line. And Harrop's through. And Rochdale Hornets hit back straight away. And it is game on here at Boundary Park.
That's a fantastic try, isn't it? It's twice they've come on a reverse play back to this short side. So they've clearly set the stall out. They're going to challenge the short sides of Oldham. They're really testing their honesty in and around their 3-man defenders. So you're in and around Jamie Ellis there. But it was a great line from Miles Harrop. He hit a line just previous to that. It was a really brave carry. This one, the finesse and the subtlety of his change of line, just getting outside Jamie Ellis' outside shoulder there. That's a fantastic try.
And already a couple of really nice moments in the game from Lewis Else. He made that break early on, and then just a couple of times in that set, obviously very willing to bring the ball up to the line and make defenders make decisions.
Yeah, he's sharp, isn't he? And like you say, in the first set he churned up the 30 metres, and then he touched the ball 3, 4, 5 times in that last 2 sets. So his fingerprints all over it at the minute. But yeah, he's really sharp. And well, we'll say the Rochdale team certainly come alive then. They must have thrown about 3, 4 different shapes in that 2 sets on this Oldham try line. So I guess all the things we've been saying about Rochdale applies to Oldham as well. If they want to invite Rochdale down here with poor discipline, then they're very capable of posting points. So it's a great try.
So Max Flanagan looking to add the extras, and he does so. So we're locked up at 6-all, and Rochdale's first taste of good ball, and they come away from points. And Gary Thornton will be thinking if they can operate with that kind of efficiency this afternoon, then they've every chance of causing the upset here at Boundary Park.
Yeah, absolutely. And the most thing is, I think you can feel the atmosphere here just change a little bit. That's created a little bit of doubt, and the more of that from the more territory that Rochdale get, the more discipline and set completions that they have, the more doubt will be created. And in amongst this crowd, quite in the crowd, and in amongst, more importantly, the Oldham team.
So Danny Craven gets us back underway, taken on the full and carried back with interest by Nixon. Important set this for Rochdale after scoring. Need to complete and try and put a good kick in at the end of it, get themselves right in this arm wrestle. Got the wind in the sails quite literally, but also after that try. And again, they favour the short side. Else brings it up to the line again. Harrop through, was looking for the offload, just couldn't quite get it away. But they look dangerous on this left-hand side. Else, he drops it off to Luke Nelms. Nelms is brought down, and this is good progress from the Rochdale Hornets. Last tackle, they're asking the ref for something, nothing coming. Else will put the kick high up. Danny Craven in the end with plenty of space. Opportunity to bring it in, and he almost makes a break himself. In the end, brought down. We're going to take a break here because Craven just picked up a little bit of a knock in the tackle there.
He's gone, it's his knee or his ankle, isn't it? He's been folded backwards. Quite often you see these, and it's more the fright of it and the thought of what it could be. But I was just watching the replay. Oh. Yeah, his ankle's gone under himself there. So, is it a bit of a hit drop here? What we'll say is Rochdale using this short side. It's the Harrop and Else show at the minute. The two of them combining really well, out of yardage and in good ball. So yeah, a lot of deception out of dummy half from Openshaw, showing right, coming back left down this channel, and clearly putting some traffic around Jamie Ellis.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with Lewis Else in the early exchanges of this game. Former Swinton Lion player. And his fingerprints over everything good so far from a Rochdale perspective.
The referee's going to put this on report for a hip drop. There's definitely some mileage in that.
Okay, Tommy Pop. Tackle one there.
Yeah, so it goes on report. Thankfully, Denny Craven is back up to his feet and okay to carry on. So Craig Kopjak gets us back underway with the carry. He's brought down around the 30-metre mark. Wildy then brings us left. Oldham still making good metres on every one of these yardage carries, and now Adam Lawton gets a head of steam up, but he's met well by the Rochdale defence. Brought down on the halfway line. You're going to have to keep an eye on him today. If he gets his legs moving, a very dangerous player with all of that size and strength. Jay Chapelhow makes a few more metres. So a couple of tackles still in their pocket. Oldham making some decent progress into the Rochdale half. Astley brought down. And Wildy brings us out to the right. Kopjak takes it up to the line and gives it to Ellis. Ellis now to Craven. There could be space. Still going. Cian Morgan. Eventually brought down. And Craven at acting half brings us out to the left. Ellis drops it off to Kopjak. Kopjak to Wiley in the back line, almost getting himself through, Matty Wildy, but brought down. This is the last. So the kick to come. Astley brings it out to the left, stabs it through, dealt with really well in the end by Joe Hartley, just getting his foot in front of the ball. Excellent first touch if it was a game of football, and then diving on it. And Rochdale survive another Oldham attack, but the concerns for the Hornets is just how easy Oldham are rolling down the field in yardage.
Yeah, they got a restart in there as well. This they probably churned up about 11 tackles there. I've got to pay credit to Rochdale though. I thought they got numbers in the tackle really well. I think they've set themselves a little bit of a blueprint to get anything out of this game. They've got to control this ruck, obviously, and the way to do that is get 3 men in a tackle, but it takes energy, and they've got to do that for the 80 minutes. But yeah, they're certainly having a dig, Rochdale.
A good line speed from Oldham as he got out to Johnny Openshaw. Reasonable set this though, from an Oldham perspective, and again they favour this left short side. Ben Forster brought down inside the Oldham half. Openshaw goes himself, makes good metres for it as well. This is the last, but an encouraging set again from a Rochdale perspective. Else at acting half to Hollidge. Hollidge puts it up in the air for Cian Morgan to deal with, and he does. And Oldham will start this set 12 metres away from their own goal line. So Mo Agoro making the carry, and there's a real pace to this game already. It feels like the ball's been in play a lot. Not many stoppages at all for the tries and that Danny Craven injury.
Well, it feels like Rochdale have weathered a little bit of a storm here, and they've found some energy. And like I said before, they're playing some numbers in defence there, 2s and 3s, and getting a little bit of a foothold in this game.
Wardle going for a dummy half and getting his nose through, getting the offload away to Kopjak. Kopjak still going, can't find the offload himself, but really good progress made by Wardle and Kopjak up the middle. This is the last. Craven opts to keep the ball in hand, gives it to Turner. It could be in over on the left-hand side. It's a brilliant finish from Ben O'Keefe. The full acrobatic display from the Oldham winger, and they retake the lead on that left edge.
Yeah, cursed Rochdale, didn't I? But, you know, we spoke about them going up the guts, and we said worrying signs about 4 or 5 sets ago. And, yeah, it was there again. I think Oldham's blueprint is very much right up the middle, and strong carries and speed of ruck. And it was Craven who's, you know, he's a great footballer. He's got great vision. He's thrown the cutout pass on the last play. Rochdale have just sat, waiting to defend the kick. Found the second last defender, Turner, who's put his winger away for a great finish in the corner.
Yeah, full marks for the acrobatic finish from O'Keefe.
Yeah, I know that, mate.
I think because the winger's just sat back a little bit, it's just allowed Craven that space. He found his second last defender, and so it's allowed him space to get the pass away. And it's a great play, great variation. Certainly with this wind as well, the strong wind, the kicking game's been very difficult for Oldham. So they ran that last play and come up with a reward.
Well, it's been really entertaining opening quarter or so of this game. Both teams willing to throw plenty of shape at each other. Lots of expansive rugby league on one of the few dry days that we've had so far this season. Fantastic to see in that respect. Jamie Ellis with a really tough assignment right on that sideline, kicking into the wind to improve that O'Keefe try from 4 points to 6.
Yeah, mine's just turning 20 now.
So he steps up and catches in the wind. And just falls short. It wasn't too bad with the line, but going to be very difficult kicking into that stiff breeze. The ball just drops short, so it stays just a 4 point, 10 points to 6 Oldham lead. Plenty of encouragement from a Rochdale perspective as well, and a really entertaining first 20 minutes of this Betfred League One game, Paul.
Yeah, they've just brought a couple of subs on as well, Rochdale, a couple of middle changes. Just to...
Oh, and Lawson spills it for the kickoff. Referee says it's gone backwards. He might have got away with one there, Adam Lawson.
Yeah, I think so. You see them given these days, don't you, for knock-ons? But however, again, Rochdale just made a couple of middle interchanges there, so hoping to just provide that little bit of energy and stop that leak up the middle there that Oldham keep finding.
Yeah, Jordan Andrade, Jamaican international, onto the field, as well as Lamek Juma, giving the reinforcements to this Hornets side. Kopchak has been really busy in these opening exchanges, plenty of carries up the middle from the former Wales international. He'll play the ball just short of the halfway line. Craven will put the kick in, and that's probably the first time in this game we've seen Oldham kick from within their own half. It's taken well. And Rochdale with one of the better platforms they've had in terms of yardage so far in this game, and they'll look to make progress towards that halfway line and get themselves in this arm wrestle. Deals for a high shot, nothing given from the ref. And they come again to the short side. Else bringing it up towards the line. Harrop causing all sorts of problems on that left-hand side, just gets himself free, eventually wrapped up. Open short. Out to Else. Else drops it off to Toby Brannan. He's brought down about 30 metres away. This is the last tackle. So a reasonable set again from a Hornets perspective as Else puts a high kick up, looking to find the space. Danny Craven's there. He's met well by Dan Nixon. Big hit's gone in. There's a player down injured. I think it might be Lewis Else. But Rochdale will be pleased with where Oldham are starting this set from.
Yeah, he's caught his arm, hasn't he? Nixon's come up with a big hit there on Craven. Fantastic chase, fantastic hit. And as he's just come in secondary there as Else and got his arm stuck in a little bit of a tackle. So hopefully he's okay. It looks like he possibly hyperextended his elbow there, just looking at the physio giving him some treatment. But again, they use the option of the short side, don't they? This left edge, they look to shorten the field, get to that scrum line, and then they really are troubling Oldham's 3 and 2 man, which is Ellis and Morgan. They're just struggling to deal with Miles Harrop and the pace of Else.
Well, this would be a real blow for Rochdale if Else isn't able to continue. Already missing a couple of their regular starters in the halves. Else has lit this game up so far. He's been arguably one of the best players on the field. There'll be a few nervous Rochdale coaches and fans watching on. He's back up to his feet. And we'll see whether he comes back into the game. He's leaving the field just to receive a bit more treatment. So that's a potentially significant moment in this one. Still holding his arm very gingerly as he walks down towards the Rochdale dugout. In the meantime, Oldham get us back underway. Adam Lawton just poking his nose through the line. Some good extended metres, and then a go-row follows it up with a carry from dummy half. And a penalty to boot for Oldham. And Danny Craven will look to put this ball downfield. This is coming right at us, Paul. Just about missing our commentary position. And Oldham will restart on the halfway line. Or just short of it, as the referee brings them back. And Ellis drops it off to Kopchak again. He's brought down just the other side of halfway. Wildy, quick play the ball. He gets it out to Ellis. Ellis to Chapelhow. Chapelhow fires into the defensive line. Brought down probably about 35 metres away. Wildy brings us left. Logan Astley in that slightly newer position for him in the halves, with Danny Craven playing fullback. Just a bit of shuffling in the spine from an Oldham perspective this afternoon, as they're sniffing out more points here. Wildy pretty much dead centre. They come out to the right, but then he steps back inside, drops it off to Chapelhow, who gets the offload away again. There could be in the corner. Jordan Turner just checks his run and will score for Oldham. And in the end, a relatively routine try for the home side. Wildy did really well. It was the offload from Chapelhow that kept the move going, and Jordan Turner in acres of space in the end to make his way over.
Yeah, as the big men in the middle again doing the damage, just working from scrum line to scrum line, just really softening up this Rochdale defence. And then, as we said before, it was Wildy. It was his first carry, really, first foray out of dummy half, and he's just brushed off Johnny Openshaw. Got to the negative side of ruck, and well, they've got loads of numbers there, haven't they? It's an easy one for Turner.
Yeah, it was Chapelhow managed to turn his body in the tackle to get the offload away and keep that move going. Jordan Turner finishes those kind of opportunities for fun. All that experience, of course, playing around the world.
The challenge for Rochdale is because they're applying 3 men into the tackle all the time, is to get that third man back and get the numbers right defensively. But the longer this game goes on, the more territory and possession that Oldham have. Obviously, fatigue's going to set in with Rochdale, which it already has, and they're just getting the numbers off and getting them wrong defensively. And Oldham are too wise in Ellis, Craven and Astley. Their spine's too good, and Wildy in there.
So
not
Ellis
to take advantage.
a little bit further in from the sideline for this one, still unable to add the two.
It's keeping him in the game, isn't it? 14-6. It's not. It's still a tight game, and Rochdale have still got a lot to play for here.
Well, Jordan Turner did his best to bring that kicking position in from the sideline. The kickers won't be too thankful of tries scored right out on the edge this afternoon, as this wind continues to blow around Boundary Park. Oldham pushing themselves out low to an 8-point lead as Rochdale get us back underway. O'Keefe underneath it, takes it in. And he looked to offer up the pass then, but in the end he will go on and meet the defence himself. So Oldham restarting the game 10 metres away from their own line. Wildy drops it off to Turner, the try scorer. Jamaican international, of course. Brought down in the end by 3 Rochdale defenders, and now they come out to the right. 4 Rochdale defenders again, as you mentioned, Paul. Plenty of numbers in the tackle, but that does take its toll eventually as Kopchak brings it up to the line, then drops it off. There was a hot hand in there from a Rochdale player, so a restart is set for Oldham, which they will start pretty much bang on the halfway line. Kean Morgan takes it in. Play the ball 5 metres inside the Rochdale half. Chapelhow again offers up a couple of passes but keeps it himself. Brought down dead centre. Wildy again shapes one way but comes the other as Astley brings us out to the left hand side. Good work from Craven, but Wardle can't quite get the pass away. And it's Ben O'Keefe on that left edge who was flying through. If they'd have made that a work, they could have been in again in the corner.
Yeah, I'm not sure he needed to pass that Wardle. They've been building the game nicely, Oldham. Again, it's nothing. It's not the fancy stuff that's going to get them the win today. It's the strong carries. Again, scrum line to scrum line, in and around 4 men, and letting Oldham, Rochdale make the mistakes defensively and picking them off there. But just pushing the pass a little bit too much. I think that'll be Longy's message as Turner comes in with an absolute bell ringer. He's been penalised. I'm not.
Well, maybe just riding slightly high. And the players just coming together. This is a derby, of course. Plenty of feeling in this one. On a weekend of rivalries.
Jordan Turner's seen it all before, hasn't he? He's not getting involved in any of that. It's a good shot that's just ridden a little bit high secondary. I don't think there's much in it.
Time's off.
But an opportunity then
So the penalty of Jordan Turner.
for Rochdale to clear the lines. In the meantime, the officials just having a chat to get to the bottom of what happened there.
Yeah, but I've got a call from the touchline. There is contact with the head, so I'll give a penalty. I'm not seeing it, so I've gone with him. That's all I've done. All right. So yeah, just keep them calm. I'm going to speak with Jordan. I'm going to speak with them for coming in. So you don't need your players coming in either, like Adam as well.
If it's contact with the head, why has he not been checked out?
You what?
But if it's contact with the head, why
That's up to. I'm not a doctor, mate. So that's not up to me. That's not up to me, Jordan. Jordan.
So a lengthy chat
Kid. Come here. Yeah, you.
with the Oldham skipper, and now he calls over Jordan Andrade.
Right, first of all, I don't need you coming in from as far as you did. I escalate that situation. Next time it'll be a penalty against you, okay? I don't need you throwing the ball at anybody's head either. Next time it'll be in the bin, all right? Just be careful. Yes, pal. Time back on.
So our referee, Andy Sweet, just laying down the law. But it will be Rochdale still with the penalty as Lewis Hollidge puts the ball downfield. Goes out of play on the halfway line. So a good platform this for the Hornets. They've not had a huge amount of the ball in the last 5 minutes or so. So really important that they make it count when they do.
It'll be interesting to see who the architect's going to be for Rochdale now. Else is off the field.
Well, they keep it up the middle for the time being. Andrade's lost that, but he's going to get a penalty for the ball steal. And it's just bubbling up nicely here between the two teams.
Yeah, it's Andrade, isn't it? He's just stoking the fire a little bit. He was the first one into Turner there, and then he's having a good old clap there, isn't he? Getting into his Oldham counterparts. Just on that one.
So Emerson Whittle making the carry. Started the season as an Oldham player, of course. Now with the Rochdale Hornets, and that's been lost by Andrade. A few Rochdale players asking if that was a high shot. The referee says no, get on with it. And Oldham do as Astley brings us out to the left. They're flying in now, the Hornets defenders.
Well, this is where he needs to load up and get one back, doesn't he?
Really gone up a notch. The intensity of this game in the last couple of minutes has already been pretty quick. Doesn't feel like there's been many breaks in this at all. As Kopczak makes the carry. And now Wildey brings us out to the right-hand side. And drops it off to Ted Chapelhow onto the field now. Oh, Wildey just caught in two minds there, so we'll have to settle it himself.
He's got 6 again, that's why, on the last tackle. And he's just spotted it well. He's done really well there to keep hold of it. He was looking whether he should have passed to his kicker or not. But they're building pressure. There's just strong carries these. A lot of push from Oldham as well.
So Ellis brings it up to the line, then plays a late pass out to Astley. He's met well. Well, they make Juma with the tackle. Now they come out to the left. Craven gives it to Turner, who just twists and finds himself through, and I think he's found the finish. The referee awards it, just double checks, but Jordan Turner has his second of the game. And that 6 again on last tackle, really coming back to bite Rochdale.
Yeah, absolutely. They made a good read, you know. I think they've carried them up the middle there. They've absolutely strong carries, just blasted the way through. And then they've gone to a right to left shift. Jamie Ellis just took it a little bit too far for me. They've jammed the backman and solved the problem, but they've got him on the next play. Just through going that same way again. They can't reload defensively, Rochdale. They've not got the energy, and then they're just falling off tackles, aren't they? And like I said before, Turner's too strong over there, and rides a challenge and gets the ball down for another try.
So Oldham stretch their lead out further to 18 points to 6 as we move over the half an hour mark in this one. Very similar position to his previous try, Jordan Turner. So again, Jamie Ellis, a little bit of work to do with this kick as Josh Johnson gets ready to come on, blow us.
It's interesting for Oldham. The biggest challenge they've got at the minute is just staying disciplined in terms of not pushing passes and just being happy to win ruck and get territory, because the opportunities are going to come, and it's generally not the first play where the defence is all set, and then, like I said before, they're jamming out the back. it's the next play after that when they just can't regroup and get the numbers right.
Ellis puts the kick out, puts his foot through it on this occasion. He is successful. So 2 more points added on to this Oldham lead, 20 points to 6. But they've not had it all their own way. Plenty of feeling in this for Jordan Andrade since he's come on. Has been right in the middle of it. Enjoying himself on this derby day. And his team have got a lot of work to do. As we get back underway, O'Keefe fields it. Gives it to Josh Johnson, fresh onto the field. Former Salford player, of course. And that, again, is a real strength, isn't it, for Oldham? The bench that they've got and their ability to rotate it and keep bringing on fresh legs, but not lose anything from that starting 13.
Yeah, it's like for like, isn't it? They've got powerful forwards, and like you said, they've just brought Josh Johnson on there. He's got a little bit of feet in him, he's got a pass in him as well. He's a really good footballer, and he's aggressive, so he's going to relish this as well. He's going to take it to him as we speak. Here he is.
Yeah, another strong carry. And again, in the blink of an eye, Oldham have marched upfield and find themselves in a good ball position. This is the last, so the kick will come in from Craven. And it will just hang in the air. Taken well in the end by Hartley.
Well, these are tough carries. Tough carries now.
Yeah, and as we've seen a lot of this, haven't we? Rochdale bringing the ball right off their own line. Oldham doing a very good job of pinning them into corners, making them do the hard work, but they will get a penalty. Just too much rotation in that tackle for the referee's liking. And a golden let-off, really.
Yeah.
Just talking about the pressure that Oldham were putting on Rochdale. And that's been relieved. Lewis Hollish can clear the lines up towards halfway again.
It's, yeah, by the rules, it is a tip tackle. He said it's a tough one because actually it's not far off being a textbook tackle as well, isn't it? So, but, you know, his legs have come up above 90 degrees and the book says it's a foul. It's a foul.
So Juma carries over halfway. This feels like an important spell in the game for Rochdale to try and just get a foothold in it before half-time. Andrade brought down, getting plenty of attention from the defence. They just reverse the play behind the ruck. Hollidge brings it up to the line. Juma still going, brought down eventually. So they'll come out to this left edge. Whittle making the carry. He's brought down maybe 15, 16 metres away from the line. Open short, will go from the ruck, but there's an error at the play of the ball.
I said he's not played the ball correctly.
So it'll be a turnover. And Rochdale miss out on a rare opportunity to put some pressure on that Oldham defensive line in good ball. As it is, the home side will get the opportunity to roll downfield again. Well, that is a slower play, the ball. So a small win, but then a penalty. Just too much on that right edge from the defence, offside. And after doing a reasonable job of slowing the game down a little bit there, Rochdale find themselves running back towards their own goal line again.
Yeah, just got a little bit scrap, hasn't it, from Rochdale? So they can't cheat their way out of this. They've got to earn it. They've got to bend the back. As we said before, there's 3-4 men in the tackle, and as you watch now, there's the third man getting back real late. But on that occasion, they controlled the ruck pretty well.
And it is that third man that Oldham target. Turner coming back against the grain. Met well in the end by Brannan and Andrade. And again, that third man late into the line. And Adam Lawton cuts a great line through a huge hole and scores a try. No, he hasn't. He's lost it forwards. It's a brilliant cover of defence in the end by Rochdale, but a real let-off. And there's no respite here. Rochdale straight away with the quick tap, marching us up towards the halfway line. And then a penalty, holding on too long.
10 minutes.
And Kopchak's going to walk for this as well. 10 minutes for deliberately slowing the play down. And Rochdale will finish this half a man up It's all happening, Paul.
Yeah, so I mean, has he given a professional foul here? I'm not sure about that. Having 10 minutes there, but I think anyway, Oldham's just showed the blueprint. They don't have to do anything fancy. I think they blast their way up the middle, and then the spaces will come. Rochdale then gravitate towards the ruck to rescue the situation. Then you've got big boppers like Lawton on an edge there. He's too big. It's a beautiful line, and he should have scored that try. But you credit Rochdale defence, the desperation, and tells a lot about their character. As Brad Brennan's on the field now and just takes that first carry.
Yeah, big first carry. They've obviously found him a jersey with a number on it. We were told that he'd be playing without one, but he's in that 34 jersey. Hollidge, on his debut, brings it up to the line, decides to keep the ball in hand. He's had a nice few little moments in this game. Some nice kicking. On this occasion, it's Andrade who comes up to the line, finds the offload. The pass is to no one, but it's swept up, and then an error from Tom Briley. And again, for the second set in a row, Rochdale just letting themselves down when they had an opportunity to put some real pressure on.
Yeah, and there's been moments, hasn't it, in this first half. It's still only 20 points to 6, where you're kind of thinking, what only? If they had a McNally, if they had a Ridgard, they've certainly lacked that composure and that cutting edge, if you like, when they've got in the better areas of the field. And that one there is just a prime example. Just all a little bit excitable and, like I say, lacking patience and composure on that play.
Well, Lewis Ellis is below us with his elbow heavily strapped up. I think there's some indication they're going to try and get him back on the field at some point. As Rochdale compound the error by conceding the penalty. It's just getting a little bit scrappy in the last few minutes of this half from both sides. Maybe just a little bit of fatigue creeping in. So Oldham will restart the game from halfway. That ball's up on the roof, so we'll just wait for it to come back down. Which eventually it does, to the cheers of the crowd here. We still haven't got a ball on the field of play, so just a little bit of a delay. Magoro's got one in his hands now, and we get back underway. Just feels, doesn't it, as we approach half-time, really important from a Rochdale perspective. They don't go into the sheds with this lead any bigger than it is, but already Oldham looking to throw some shape on that left-hand side, expand this game out a bit as Turner comes back against the grain and gives it to Lawton. Lawton drops it off to Kean Morgan, and then a penalty. Rochdale just putting more pressure on themselves here as the clock ticks down towards half-time. And a golden opportunity 20 metres out to stretch this lead before the break, as Ellis brings it up towards the line and drops it off to Ted Chapelhow. He makes a few post-contact meters, sets up dead centre. Wildy comes to the right-hand side of the ruck and gives it to Ellis. Craven met well by Harrop. He stops 6 metres away. Lawton at acting half brings it out. Ellis now to Wildy. Wildy brings it back inside to Josh Johnson. He can't make too much progress. So options left and right, but they go to the long side out to Ellis. Ellis up to the line, just dropping it off for Chapelhow. Andrade does well, though. Brennan in there as well. Options to the left. It's a crash ball for Wardle. And again, that defensive combo of Andrade and Brennan keep them out. So this is the last. An important tackle, and it's intercepted, but it'll be a penalty for offside. It was Emerson Whittle, I think. He just jumped the gun and thought he might have been away. The referee's called it back for offside, and Oldham have another opportunity to break down the door.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. What a good defensive set. They've done good reads there from Miles Harrop on this edge here, dealing with Craven out the back, and then resilience to defend their own try line there, just on the big plays. When Ellis is playing no-look passes to Chapelhow there, straight into Brad Brennan. Really unfortunate here. They're defending their own line. They're 2 metres out and he's got an intercept. It's not hard to get into the attacking line. So really unfortunate. I just thought Rochdale just showed they've been a little bit naive in how they've gone about the business, but you can't question the character, the resilience and the will to fight for one another. They're certainly not going down without a fight, these boys, and from their point of view, hopefully they can just defend the line here and go in with this scoreline intact and no more damage done.
But it's Conor Ratcliffe just receiving some treatment behind the goal line. It won't get any easier for Rochdale if they lose a few bodies to injury. Potentially already Lewis Else out. We don't know if he'll return or not at this stage. It'll be another real blow if they were to lose Conor Ratcliffe. Just gets himself caught in an awkward position, defending that last tackle. You see there the Whittle interception, it was deemed offside. Back up onto his feet, Ratcliffe. Looks like he's going to continue, just getting up a little gingerly, but physios give the thumbs up. So Josh Johnson gets us back underway. Brought down in the shadow of the posts, about 6-7 metres away. Ellis has the ball in his hands again. He gives it to Astley. Astley was looking for that short ball to Adam Lawton, but Lawton went without the ball. And Rochdale survive.
You've got to say this left edge for Rochdale has been very good defensively. They've really shut down all these attacking shapes from Oldham. People out the back. It's Miles Harrop again, who's took his man. He's gone out, he's jammed out the back, he's killed the shape, so they're finding Lawton there, but the Rochdale defence just dealing with that big lead runner and forcing an error. So that's a really good sign for Rochdale defensively, forcing errors against this big Oldham team.
So scrum under their own post as they look to bring the ball away, and they just expanded out. That was Harrop. So there we go, half-time. Oldham go in with a fairly comfortable 20-6 lead. Doesn't necessarily tell the full story of this game. Rochdale certainly giving plenty of fight in them, just unable to capitalise on the opportunities that they have had in good ball. Oldham, on the other hand, have been pretty clinical, especially on that left-hand edge. These are the home side who lead at the break, albeit a man down. But this is how things unfolded. This first try, Jamie Ellis, pretty simple, too big and too strong.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just a show and go, isn't it? Again, Miles, you've seen it quite often. He's getting up really high and he's leaving the one-on-one on his inside, so he's got to deal with that. But Jamie, like I said, too big, too strong.
Immediate response. Lewis Else with that ball from right up to the defensive line, and it was Harrop who went over.
Well, it's a similar sort of thing, isn't it? One-on-one misses both ways there, and then it's Wardle up the middle, and it's a close support from Kopchak. So they've really busted him up the middle there, just softened them up, and then they've got the numbers wrong, as we've seen many a time. Just sat defensively, and he's found his second last pass. Who's in Turner, who's got the pass away, and the winger's scored in the corner.
Keir Morgan.
It's a really well-worked try.
Front flip over the line, and at this point, he felt that Oldham really had a roll on. And then this try, Matty Wildey coming to the left-hand side of the ruck, the return offload from Chappell out, and Jordan Turner basically just had to choose where he was going to score it. Brushes off the defender, gets his first of the afternoon. But again, really nice, just off-the-cuff, reactive play, mixed with a bit of shape from Oldham. And in the end, a pretty routine finish for Jordan Turner, and it wouldn't take him long to get his second. Craven, just that short drop-off ball, and again, as we said with the first try, too big and too strong. As we've seen throughout this, plenty of feeling in this game. Both teams know what this means to the supporters. A really important derby in this part of the world. But this is the tale of the tape. After 40 minutes, Oldham with their heads in front, 20-6. Ellis, O'Keefe and Turner with true tries, as we've just seen. Ellis converting 2 of them. Hartley with the response from a Rochdale perspective. Flanagan converting that one. So at half-time, Oldham lead in this derby. Brilliant to have you with us on the Sportsman. We're going to take a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with the second half from Boundary Park very shortly.
You're watching the Sportsman Rugby League. Subscribe for weekly shows, exclusive content and live games.
Playing one game of Super League was a dream come true for me, so to play as many as I have now, and the universe working in mad ways to bring me to Salford to achieve my best performances. I feel like it's kind of written in the stars a little bit. I never knew anything other than rugby league, and when they asked me what I wanted to do when I grew up, it was be a rugby league player. I didn't know you had to be any good at it. I just thought you could just choose to be one. So yeah, when anyone asked me about plan A's and plan B's, it was just purely playing for Salford Red Devils. That's all I ever wanted to do.
Oh, Ryan, where do you want me to start from? I think he was about 18 months old, and he had we bought him a rugby ball, Salford rugby ball, a small one. And we knew then the way he was with the ball, the way he connected with the ball, and the way he just loved rugby. Obviously his dad played rugby for a team over in Little Hulton, badly, but he was he always followed his dad around with the rugby.
Obviously the first memories you see is obviously the willows and seeing the pitch and how it smelt, and also walking into the shed as it was, also with my dad, and seeing obviously the rest of the family in there was obviously the highlight of my week, I think.
Well, he's been on a journey, that's for sure. So as a rugby player now, he's a product of his effort, resilience, determination and character.
And before you know it, you're in an academy and then you're in the first team. So I'll be honest, I never really had a realisation, and probably suffered with a lot of imposter syndrome up until quite recently. I reckon only the last 2 years playing for Salford have I really realised or believed I was a Super League player.
We'd looked at him for a couple of years before he came, to be fair, and wanted to bring him in a couple of years earlier than we actually got to him. And as soon as Rolls was involved, that escalated. Obviously they have a very long-standing relationship, so that escalated a fair bit. I mean, he actually went public, didn't he, probably about 12-18 months before he actually came here, saying that he'd play for nothing for this club. So I wanted to test him on that. He doesn't, but he desperately, he made it really clear that he wanted to come here and play for the club.
It was obviously on our eye line anyway, because I think Marwan Kukash was looking to bring him in before that, so knew all about him, and I'd sort of like kept in contact with him over the years. And then when Paul said we should go for him, 100%, we went and met him, and we captured the Prince of Salford signature.
And no matter what now, my dream was to play for Salford, and no matter what happens on and off the field, no one can take that away from me. I did it. I think I've got a picture back at home, you'd have seen it, but just a message to my dad saying, "Dad, I did it," and that was playing for Salford. It was nothing else. It wasn't about being a professional rugby league player. It was about playing for Salford. Whether your dream was to be a professional footballer or be a singer, be a movie star, or play for Salford Red Devils, my dream was to play for Salford, and that dream came true.
You're watching the Sportsman Rugby League. Subscribe for weekly shows, exclusive content and live games.
Yeah, Ryan Briley there made his 300th career appearance, of course, last night. For Salford Red Devils, you can watch that full feature right here on this YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe. The last tackle every week, of course, 6 o'clock on a Wednesday, and plenty more live rugby league on the way. Some big announcements coming up about future fixtures, so keep your eyes across our social media. Right here at Boundary Park at half-time, it is Oldham that will be the happier of the two sides in the sheds at the break. But as we mentioned, Paul, they've not had it all their own way. They've been made to work hard for this.
No, they've not, and they've got a lot of spirit of Rochdale, haven't they? Just lacking the quality that Oldham have got, and that's probably the difference, and that reflects in the scoreline. I think the second half, there's a considerable wind here at Boundary Park, and that might make Rochdale's challenge even more difficult. However, the resilience that they've shown, and the desire and the connected defence that they've shown on occasion, certainly this left edge of Rochdale's defensively has been very, very good. So there's a lot of positive things to talk about for Rochdale, but Oldham do look a couple of gears above them, and able to go a little bit further, I feel, with it.
Let's just remind ourselves then of how we've ended up with this 20 points to 6 scoreline. Started off with Jamie Ellis opening the scoring, just keeping the ball in his hands, the Oldham halfback, powering his way over. As you mentioned in commentary, Paul, just a little bit of a slip in the Rochdale defensive line, causing some indecision. But this response from Rochdale, really good. Lewis Else with that short ball to Miles Harrop. And at this point, it really was game on. And then just some big carries and big moments from Oldham players. Joe Warder, we saw there, just getting himself through, getting his team on the front foot. And a acrobatic finish on that left edge from Ben O'Keefe, and then Jordan Turner. He's been pretty impressive on that left-hand side, helping himself to a couple of tries. This is the first one, just checking his run, coming back on the inside, but that was all about the work done on his inside from Matty Wildy and Jay Chappell-Howe. Linking up well with those offloads. And again, just too big and too strong, the Jamaican international. It didn't take him long to help himself to a second. Spinning out of contact. Again, just hitting that line, getting the ball late, spinning out of contact, getting himself over. Two teams know that they're playing for a lot more than just 2 points this afternoon. Plenty of bragging rights on the line. Everyone enjoying themselves this afternoon. Plenty of people in the queue for a kebab. If anyone's watching down there and wants to bring us one up, we'll be more than happy. As we await the two teams to come back out for the second half, the word from the sheds at the break that they are still working on Lewis Else's arm. That elbow pretty heavily strapped up. They're giving him every chance to try and get him back out for the second half. So we'll have to wait and see if he is part of that Rochdale side. He comes out. It was a big miss for them, wasn't it, when he had his hands all over it for those opening 20 minutes, and you have been able to tell the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. In particular with...
So we've just heard from the sheds, literally as we speak, that Lewis Else won't be returning to this game. Potential fracture on that arm. So it's got even tougher for Rochdale, already missing two of their key players. Now lose another one as they retake the field.
Yeah, that would hurt any team, wouldn't it? The three best spine players are all missing now with Else going off the field. And he was having a good game as well. Everything good was happening around there, and in particular his partnership over on this left edge with Harrop was really destructive and causing Oldham all sorts of problems. I think from an Oldham point of view, I'd like to see Matty Wilder doing more. I think the soft spot of Rochdale's been right around the ruck, and the more Oldham can get some joy from that, I'd like to see Matty Wilder just getting a little bit more excited about these quick rucks and exploiting that space, rather than trying to get around Rochdale. They just need to go through, and I think Jordan Turner on a couple of occasions now has shown the way with that, coming back against the grain, or whether it be just hitting tight lead balls and actually running over the top of people, because they're much bigger, and they're winning the ruck. Rochdale are on the heels quite often, but Oldham will start this second half still with 12 men, so it's a good opportunity again for Rochdale to get a foothold in this game and get one more try early. Then the hope will build, and as we started off this show, it is a derby game, so anything can happen.
Yeah, there will be about 5 minutes at the beginning of the second half, as you say, where Rochdale will have the man advantage. Okay, Craig Kopchak still in the sin bin. Oldham taking the kick off, and Wardle, he's made some strong carries on that left edge already in this game, making another one, just brushing a defender off, but brought down. And Johnson will just narrow the line, bring it back towards the ruck. Brought down short of halfway. Wildy chooses to come to the left. Astley with a nice little inside ball. Craven it was, looking to burst through the gap. Well defended in the end from a Rochdale perspective. Astley again with his hands on it. Keeps the ball in hand on this occasion. Brought down in the end by Lebec Juma. So this is the last. Turner out to Craven. Craven with a strange kick in lots of ways, but a lot of pressure put on. And Rochdale will start deep inside their own territory. Oldham will be pretty pleased with that first set from a territory perspective, as Joe Hartley carries for the Hornets, brought down about 20 metres away from his own line. Lawton Johnson both in there with strong contacts in that tackle. And now Brad Brennan sticks it up the jumper, but makes some good post-contact meters. An open Shaw darts out from dummy half, makes some good progress, gives it to Emerson Whittle. He's brought down just short of the 40, so some decent yards made. This is the last. The kick will go up from Hollidge, and it's a high one. It's been up there for a long, long time. Craven in the end relatively safe underneath it, but early on in this second half, both teams just exchanging sets, Paul.
Yeah, nothing really happening. Them two sets, both straight up the ruck, were they? One out carries, but I think Oldham will sense a missed opportunity. They had this edge sorted here, this left edge. Brad Brennan was at 3-man, so big fella round the corner, and Oldham played the ball back inside. So I think the opportunities was there, and I think Sean Long will be lamenting these missed opportunities to really run at those big fellas when they get them round the corner. When there's 4 defenders or 3 defenders.
Yeah, I'll be pleased with the scoreline, Sean, but it does have a feeling that kind of Oldham maybe still have some gears in them as Mo Agoro gets moving over on that right edge. Brought down.
And that's exactly the scenario we're just speaking about, and it's a great pass from Lawson, isn't it? But cover defence good.
So they come wide to Wildy, he gives it to Ellis. Ellis now to Logan Astley, who gets the ball away to Wardle. Just stops, I think maybe realising that was the last, and he's brought down, so the turnover will happen maybe 13 metres away.
Well, there's the warning shot. That's the short side plays is what we're going to see of Oldham. If Oldham are playing eyes up football and playing to the easy plays, win the ruck, get the numbers wrong, get the big men around the corners, and then your short sides are on every day of the week.
And from a Rochdale perspective, in this kind of little mini passage of play that we've just had, they've started both of their sets pretty much in the same position, 10 metres or so away from their own line, so not making a huge amount of progress in that arm wrestle. As Brennan plays the ball, and now Andrade will carry up to halfway. He makes some decent progress. He'll play the ball on the halfway line. Still a few tackles in their pocket as Openshaw brings us out to the left. Hollidge. Max Flanagan, who's stepping more and more into this spine in the absence of Lewis Else, brings it up. Hollidge again puts a hanging kick up into the air, hanging around in the wind, and it nearly fell for Dan Nixon. Couldn't bring it in cleanly over on that left-hand side, but the wind, as we've mentioned a few times in this game, causing all sorts of problems for the kickers and the receivers on both sides.
It was an ugly kick, wasn't it? It was a dangerous kick, but it was ugly for anyone who wanted to catch it. That's my point. So, yeah, like you said, this wind's causing no end of problems, but that's the difference right there. Jordan Turner's getting his nose through, he's winning the rucks, and he's causing chaos. Look at all the disarray in defensive line. Rochdale have got a man extra, and they look like they've got a man less when they've got the ball because they're not winning any rucks. It's slow.
And a penalty as well, not helping from a Hornets perspective. I was just about to say, Lewis Hollidge making his professional debut this afternoon for Rochdale. Made even harder by the fact that he's lost his half-back partner in Lewis Else. I've been quite impressed with the way that he's handled himself this afternoon.
Yeah,
a real baptism of fire.
Well, it's a good experience for a lot of these players who lack experience, or they're a little bit younger, you know, the younger lads. So they'll gain from this and grow from this, and you know, they'll be buoyed moving forward. Don't want to speak like the game's over, but whatever it happens, they'll be better for
Ted
it.
Chappell out with a strong carry, but then an error, and you can see the Rochdale players are happy with that one.
Yeah, how long he'll be pulling his hair out here. It's just lacking discipline, Oldham.
On the line, boys.
6 minutes in to
Hold
this
the line.
second half. Still no points in this second period. 20-6, Oldham lead.
Right. Ball in. Hold your line.
Rochdale
Out.
just clinging on. We've gone set to set, really, in this second half so far. A couple of penalties and errors in the mix, but both teams just happy to trade blows. Oldham, of course, with this lead, more than happy to just let this game play out. Rochdale, we were going to have to force something if they are going to claw their way back into this. But again, making meters that perhaps weren't there in the first half, although Andrade met well by Adam Lawton. Just a little bit slower in getting up after that one. Feeling that as Whittle drops it off to Brennan. Brennan brings it up over halfway. And again, just some post-contact meters and then an error at the play of the ball. Fired out from his foot from Brad Brennan.
I think he's put it down on Matty Wiley's foot, hasn't it? But you're in control of the ball and you're responsible for playing the ball correctly. Yeah, he's just put it down on Matty Wiley's foot there. But again, turning the ball over cheaply, and this is probably the highest up the field Oldham have started for this start of the second half. So an early test for Rochdale defensively, but they've got a couple of big boppers on the Rochdale, making some good carries there in Andrade and Brennan, and you know it's key for them to make sure they've got the lion's share of possession. They don't want to be defending too much with the big fellas on the field.
So Jordan Turner plays the ball on the halfway line. Astley drops it off to Kopchak, back on the field. Simbin him, falls backwards. So again, small wins from a Rochdale perspective. Still giving plenty in this game, not giving up on it yet. Josh Johnson carries up over halfway for Oldham. Matty Wiley has done a full stint so far at 9 in this game. Gives it to Ted Chapelhout. He's brought down 35 metres away, and they come over to this left-hand side, as they have done, favoured throughout this game. Turner just wrapped up in the end, still going, and eventually stopped. So Craven will play this ball 5 metres in from the sideline, plays it out to Astley. Astley drops it off to Wildy in the line. He gives it to Ted Chapelhout, looking to just break through, but brought down again by the Rochdale defence. Wildy on that quicker play the ball, just gives it to Kopchak, bumps the tackle off, gets the offload away, and then Astley fires the ball out wide, far too much on it. Ben O'Keefe left, just looking at Logan Astley as the ball goes into touch, and it's just that little bit of almost disjointedness from an Oldham perspective that's stopping them from putting up a score here.
Yeah, it wasn't just the last tackle, it was the play before. They had the 4, they had 5v4 there, and they just couldn't get the last play away. They're not executing right. John Turner, it was, got tackled with the ball. I think the winger's flat with
loose
him.
In the tackle.
It's a high tackle.
If
the winger's flat with him, they'd have scored 3 plays earlier, and then obviously Astley there, who's just thrown the ball away when it should have been a walk-in really. So again, Longy, they've got a little bit of work to do there, just polish up what they're doing with the ball in hand. A lot of missed opportunities from good positions.
So Hollish puts the ball into touch. Rochdale still in this game. Still plenty to play for from a Hornets perspective. Gary Thornton, I don't think he'll be too upset with the way they've started this second half. Definitely in the arm wrestle, although 3 Oldham defenders forcing the Hornets back there as Whittle plays the ball. Now they come out to the right to Brad Brennan. He's brought down, but it's a quickish play the ball, but it's a right mess. No one really sure who was picking that ball up at Acton half. And Oldham will get the ball back, and that was just a bit of a mess.
Yeah, it was good work from Brad Brennan. He's took a really strong carry there. He's got a quick play of the ball, and there's a mess and miscommunication at the back there between the 2 Rochdale players. Openshaw's obviously the normal dummy half, and he's wanting a piece of that action because he wants to run, and he's a keen runner. He's Openshaw, he's quick at a dummy half, so again another cheap turnover and inviting Oldham. Well, they won't get it wrong all game, will they? They'll post points eventually.
And another golden opportunity for them to do so as they come out to this right-hand side. Matty Wildy out the play the ball. They've got some shape stacked over on this left, and that is the way that they come, but they just keep it tight for the time being with Josh Johnson. He gets out of a tackle, spins away, eventually brought down 10 metres short, but a massive opportunity for Oldham to extend their lead. Again, they come to the left. Wardle cutting back inside against the grain. Could be a cross here in the end. Just brought down. Good goal line defence again from Rochdale, but they need to find some more of it. Once more they come left. Astley just keeping the ball in hand. He's stopped 4 metres away from the try line. Still tackles in hand. Wildy tries to go himself. He's muscled his way over. I think he's been held up. He has. So they will march this back 10 metres. Rochdale hanging on by a thread here. Surely they can't take too much of this. Now they come out to the right, and Craven, again, a bit of a strange kick, taken relatively comfortably in the end by Lamek Juma. it was kind of neither here nor there, that kick.
Well, like you say, his last one was the same. It's almost like Oldham are playing with Rochdale here. That they don't want to kill him off. And that kick just an example of that. It's more of a pass than challenge.
Andrade just stops 10 metres away from his own line. Brennan again, keen for a carry, and he makes some good metres. He's had an impact since he's come onto the field. And now they come out to this left. His Arab just has come up with the error. Agoro mops it up. He's getting forced over towards the sideline, but he'll be at a penalty. And that was always going to be the case, you felt. That tackle was definitely complete. So an error turned into a penalty. And Rochdale just inviting pressure onto themselves here as Ellis puts the ball into touch. And it has the feeling now that they really are on the ropes.
Yeah, he runs a great line, doesn't he, Miles Arrett? But he's just physically, he's not big enough to ride the challenge, and that's 2 balls he's put down now. It's in a really brave, probably too brave for his own good. And then against bigger athletes that Oldham are.
So Wildly to Ellis, he drops it off to Ted Chapelhow. Brought down 13 metres away from the Rochdale line. A real extended period of pressure this as they come out to the left. Turner gets it away, and this time they will score. Ben O'Keefe has his second of the game. And as we said, they've been knocking on the door for a few sets. And in the end, Rochdale just get the numbers wrong. Turner with a good pass. And Ben O'Keefe strolls in for his second of the game.
Yeah, and they've learned, haven't they, from what we were speaking about earlier. We spoke before that Jordan Turner got caught with the ball, just needed his winger in tuck shape on his shoulder there. This time they've played a little bit earlier to allow a little bit more time for Jordan Turner to catch and get that pass away. So it was an almost blueprint of a carbon copy of the previous play where Turner got tackled. This time they executed it well, so there's just real good signs for Oldham, and Longy will be pleased about that, the fact that they've seen something, didn't quite get it right, and they've adjusted and then put it right. So experienced players who've done this many times before, so to execute will be a really pleasing thing for Oldham and Sean Long.
So much of the traffic has come down this left-hand side, hasn't it, from an Oldham perspective.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Jordan Turner running the show out on that left edge. Ben O'Keefe, the benefactor on that occasion. Jamie Ellis with the kick, and in this half, he's got the wind on his side after some tricky ones in the first period. So an opportunity to push this lead out even further. He's put his foot through it. It's bending round, but not quite enough. He just pushes out to the right-hand side of the stick, so the score remains 24 points to 6 in favour of Oldham here at Boundary Park. About 25 minutes or so left in the tie. And unless Rochdale can pull a rabbit out of the hat on this Easter weekend, it's Oldham that are going home with the 2 points in their pocket. We get back underway. It's a high kick, sits up in the wind, but O'Keefe takes it well. Andrade meets him. Now Keir Morgan with a really strong carry from the ruck, and he's got himself into broken play, heading over for this left-hand side in the end. Just dragged down by Joe Hartley. But huge metres made from that carry, and straight away Oldham on the hunt for more points. Astley takes it into contact and brought down in the end about 15, 17 metres away from the line. He plays the ball wildly, brings it out to Johnson. He gives it to Ellis, who just sprays the ball out wide. Keir Morgan takes it into the 10-metre line. And now they come left again. Wildy comes out the back to Johnson. Johnson can't quite get the offload away, and he's brought down. Astley, he's got a short ball to Wardle. He comes out wide to Jordan Turner instead, who brings one back on the inside to Chapelhow. Oldham go bang bang, 2 tries in quick succession, and maybe they finally broken the back of this stubborn Rochdale side.
Yeah, it was Morgan, wasn't it? Again, right up the ruck, right up the guts. So it's the soft spot for Rochdale. They've been really sloppy around that A spot, and he's churned up 60 metres. I thought Astley had blown it. he took the carry, didn't he? Instead of playing to the space, they only had 2 men outside that last post, but they've got him there a couple of shifts later, and eventually, and against the grain play, what's happened is, because they're in all sorts of chaos, the Rochdale defence, and time and time again, they're defending really tight, just defending the ruck, so the first movement's always going to be out and lateral defensively, so inside shoulders and anything against the grain's going to be a vulnerable spot for them. And it was a great play from Jordan Turner in the initial to change the direction, and then Chapelou to hit a really brave and solid line there. And in the celebration, well, he's launched the ball, probably the highest kick of the day, to be fair, a spiral straight over the stand roof, and some kids running off it up the street as we speak.
Yeah, that'll be taken out of his paycheck. Jamie Ellis lines up the conversion. Probably his simplest one of the afternoon, knocks it over. And Oldham stretch their lead out.
I think when Rochdale go back on this game, they'll point to a lot of self-inflicted errors, won't they? You know, a couple of knock-ons there from Miles and earlier ones. They've really put themselves in a bad position, an incorrect play of the ball here and there. So there's a lot of things that they could eradicate within the performance pretty easily, and quite a bit to build on in terms of defensively at least.
Jordan Parker onto the field now for Oldham. So more reinforcements from the bench, and he will add plenty of spark and energy from dummy half, replacing Matty Wilder. He's had a really good game, the former Featherstone man. Jordan Turner as well. He's had his hands all over everything from an Oldham perspective. 2 tries and a few assists to his name now as well. Great afternoon for the former Castleford Tigers man. And Parga plays it out to Craven, who just puts the kick in early over the back, looking to turn Rochdale around, which he does, but there's too much on it. So a little bit of a error of judgment from an Oldham perspective there, just giving Rochdale a little bit of possession.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they need to go early. They're churning up the metres, aren't they? They're not having trouble making metres, so if you're going to do that, you've got to get it right and not give the seven players away. They want to keep this tempo high now and really starve and tire Rochdale out.
And Juma gets the offload away. It's a bit messy in the end, but Andrade does pick it up.
Yeah, they've got away with one. He's lucky.
Johnny Openshaw plays the ball, brings it into Whittle. He's met by his former Oldham teammates. Very little progress. Well, in fact, it started with a 20-metre tap, and they've just played it from the 20-metre line, so no progress at all from a Rochdale perspective in this set. Big contact going in. You just get the impression that they're starting to enjoy themselves now. Oldham got themselves well on top in this game, and maybe just fatigue starting to play its part as well from a Rochdale perspective. They've had to do so much defending as Craven fields that kick, met by Ratcliffe and Openshaw. Eventually stopped. The referee's just going to tell him to play it from where the tackle was made. Josh Johnson comes off with Farnworth coming back on, and that'll be a penalty, just as we saw in the first half, over rotation in the tackle.
Yeah, again, like Wardles, I don't think there's a lot in them. It's Stroher there who's effectively affected a good tackle, as he's just crossed the line, hasn't he? But they're unfortunate. I don't think there's any malice in it, as there was with Wardles, and they're more unfortunate.
It is that element of control that can be difficult sometimes to kind of keep, isn't it? As the miles get into the legs, as the fatigue sets in. And Rochdale will probably feel like all they've done for the last 5-10 minutes is defend, draining the energy out of them, running back towards their own line, tackle after tackle, as Parga brings it up towards the 10. He's chopped down. Oldham looking to continue to apply the pressure. It's nearly through there. In the end, stopped well. Held up over the line.
I think Parga coming on is probably Rochdale's worst nightmare. He looks like he wants to run as much as he can, and he's going to get some opportunities.
Well, George Hurst onto the field as well now, making that carry. He plays the ball. Parga spins a long ball out to Astley, Turner, met well, thought about forcing the offload, but keeps it in hand and makes 3 or 4 extra metres in the contact. Plays the ball over on this left-hand side. They come right to Astley. He comes out the back. Again, just keeping it tight in between the scrum lines for the time being. They have favoured this left edge, and that's the way they come again. Astley just stabs a kick through. Oh, it's a messy one. Joe Hartley took a big air swing at it. Didn't connect, but just manages to force the ball out for a goal line dropout.
Yeah, he did. Like you say, it was a big air swing, wasn't it? He's missed the ball, and luckily missed Wardle's head as well. So it's more pressure for Rochdale. It's looking really like they're trying to survive now. There's not so much attacking going on from the Rochdale perspective. So it's one of those for credibility.
No, we've spent pretty much all of the last 10 minutes or so in this game looking over to our left-hand side as Parga takes the drop out and finds a little bit of space, darts through a gap, just brought down almost immediately. Oldham on the attack again. Chapelhow's got one try, fancies another. Met well in the end by the Rochdale defenders, so unable to get that arm free. He'll play the ball a couple of metres out, come out to the right. Astley, Ellis with a short ball to Lawton. He chucks the offload out to his right-hand side. Agoro looking to find space in the corner. Huge contact. The ball comes loose. Rochdale survive. Oldham just overplaying a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I actually thought when Lawton threw it, you know what, if there's ever time to throw caution to the wind, then he's kind of found his player in a lot of space there. And I actually thought he'd score, but what a fantastic tackle that was. He got a real good contact on him, and you've got to give credit where it's due to Rochdale.
Dan Nixon.
Yeah, Dan Nixon is it. He's been it was a fantastic 3 sets, was it, that Rochdale defended, so a lot of pride in this team.
Yeah, a bit of damage has been done on the scoreboard in the last 10 minutes, but still turning up for each other, Rochdale. It means a huge amount, of course, to these two clubs, this derby. So much history between these two teams. And we all know the story around Oldham at the moment. The journey that they're on, new investment back here at Boundary Park. Rochdale as well, keen to show that they're still very much on the scene at this level. They come up to halfway, and this is the last, and it's probably the first time we've seen for a good 10-15 minutes where they've got to the end of the set and can put a kick into Oldham's half. It's not a huge amount of distance on it. And again, the home side will start with a pretty good platform. And the way that they've been making progress up the middle, they'll fancy themselves again as Agoro carries up towards halfway. Just keeping it tight in between the tram lines for the time being. Now Astley brings us out to the right. Turner cuts back inside, gets himself, finds his front. Not the quickest play the ball, but Wardle rolls forward again over the 20. Parga at dummy half. Brings us out to the right this time. Astley looking for a drop-off ball, but then gives it to Ellis. Lawton hits the line. Brought down really well in the end, but a penalty coming for Oldham. And the pressure will continue.
Yeah, there's a good tackle from Flanagan on Lawton though. He's hit an overs line just under the 3 man and outside the 4, but he's a big body, so Flanagan's done a really good job there on a one-on-one tackle. So they're still holding out Rochdale. They're not chucking the towel in.
With another full defensive set for the Hornets on their own goal line. On the way, Ellis to Astley. Craven, he steps back inside, but into traffic. He's pushed back. Another small defensive win from a Rochdale perspective. Parga gives it to Ted Chapelhow. He's brought down a couple of metres away from the try line. Parga again at dummy half. Spins it out, and there's a huge gap. And it's Owen Farmworth. He just steps into all of that real estate. They got the numbers wrong again, Rochdale. And he just almost flops over the line.
Yeah, I think it's getting to that time of the game, isn't it, where it becomes a really dangerous period for Rochdale. The lack of communication there's for all to see. As fatigue sets in, the one thing that drops off is the chat and the talk, the small talk. And clearly no one nominated the big fella out the back, and he's walked in untouched, hasn't he? They'll consider that a really soft try to concede, but I just think that's a culmination of an awful lot of pressure there. Like, as you say, we've been looking to our left for the entirety of this second half, so the damn wall was going to break, and well, it broke easily in the end.
Well, they've done a lot of really good defensive work on their own goal line in this game, Rochdale. They've had to. They've spent a lot of time camped on their own line, but on that occasion they just got it wrong.
I actually think their edges have defended pretty well. I think they've tried to get up high and shut the shapes down, but the Rochdale middle's been fractured so many times, and when edges have been undone, it's generally been a case of they've not had enough numbers. There's a man short somewhere, and the middles aren't flipping and getting across from one side to the other. So I think the Oldham middle have been dominant throughout, and there's been a big factor in this outcome.
So Turner feels the kick-off on his own goal line, drops it off to Farnworth, the most recent try scorer, but he's lost that. So a rare opportunity, probably the only opportunity so far in this second half for Rochdale to put some pressure on the Oldham line, see if they can get some points back in this game.
Yeah, he's got his hands all over the ball, hasn't he? And he's fully entitled to do so. It's a loose carry from Farnworth. So again, another good example of Rochdale and what they're about really in their character. So and still not giving in, still fighting.
So they take the scrum dead centre. Hollis brings us out to the left, looking to get the numbers right. That's gone down. Thought there may have been an Oldham hand in there, but it's dropped to Agoro, and they won't catch him. The first open field he's seen all game, and he laps it up, eats up the metres, and just as we were talking about an attacking opportunity for Rochdale, they come up with the error, and Oldham go length of the field to score.
Yeah, well, the temperature's dropped here slightly. Well, that's just warmed it back up, hasn't it? It's a good piece of athleticism from Oldham there, and it's actually good to see him Agoro get out and open his legs and see what he's all about. He's certainly got some pace, and again, it's just a forced error from an Oldham defence that's not really fatigued, got lots of energy, and able to get up high, force errors, create mistakes, and pounce upon and take the opportunities when presented. And it was great awareness, composure, and then finally finishing from Mo Agoro on that occasion.
Yeah, once he gets into open field, there's not many people who would have the pace to catch Mo Agoro.
I think Jamie Ellis would have been saying run a little bit quicker and get under them posts for me though as well, so make his kick a little bit easier. He's had some difficult ones this afternoon, a lot of tries scored on edges.
Craig Kopchak coming back onto the field for Oldham. Chapel out, returns to the bench with a try under his belt, which I'm sure he'll be very happy with. And Jamie Ellis now with an opportunity to turn Mo Agoro's 4 points into 6, which he does. Poster wobbling around all over the place, but that went pretty much through the middle, so no issues there. And that'll be a really difficult blow for Rochdale to pick themselves up from, because, as we said, an attacking scrum, their first real attacking field position of the game, and still they find themselves under their own sticks just seconds later. Mo Agoro just flying away once he got the ball in his hand.
Well, they're creeping towards that 50 mark, aren't they? But it's not felt like Oldham have been scoring at all with every every time they touch the ball. That score's just kind of creeped its way up there, hasn't it? And
yeah, it'd be interesting to see what Sean Long makes of this, because the scoreline suggests that they have been dominant. They have certainly had the better of the field position and the possession, but there's still been a little bit of clunkiness amongst the Oldham players.
Yeah, I agree. I think statistically and all the key indicators, like you say, suggest that they've won the physical battle in territory. Has not been difficult to come across.
Well, we get a repeat set here as Kopchak rolls forward. That bench rotation has been key. Oldham able to just roll through the interchanges. Rochdale have had to deal with injuries. Now they settle it 20 metres out, pretty central, options left and right, shape on both sides as well. They favoured this left throughout the game, and that's the way they come again. Farnworth settles it 10 metres out. So already Oldham hunting more points as Parga decides to go himself, shrugs off a couple of tackles, still going, drops it off. Farnworth muscles his way over, but he's held up, actually forced back, so he will play the ball from virtually the try line. Parga spins it out, the ball's gone to ground. I think it's going to be a repeat set, they won't need it. Adam Lawton crashes over. He's threatened to do that a few times this afternoon. In the end, an easy stroll in for the big fella. And Oldham really ticking the scoreboard along now.
Yeah, Parga really wants to try, doesn't he? I said that before. He's sniping every time. He's just creating that interest. The Rochdale defenders are committing to him, and that means there's space around him. And Adam Lawton, well, he's very, very good at reading the plays. A good footballer. He's a big body as well, so he wasn't going to be stopped on that occasion. Kept a firm grip of the ball and plonked it down in. Well, Jamie will be a lot happier with this kicking start point for him. He should get this over no problem, and that 50-point mark comes ever closer. So again, just fractured up the middle.
We said at the beginning that when you looked at the two teams on paper, Oldham was certainly favoured. Rochdale, real gallant effort from them, certainly for 60 minutes of this game. In the last 10 minutes, Oldham have just been able to stretch that scoreboard out. But we are seeing why Sean Longside are so heavily tipped to finish top of Betfred League One in 2024.
I think there's a couple of gears left in them as well, if I'm being honest. I think, like I said before, I think they've gone through the gears a little bit here.
So Oldham, as Roll rightly said, chasing that 50-point milestone. For the Oldham fans, it will be a very sweet one against their nearest rivals.
Just got in a bit of space there on the edge, and Morgaro's just come off, and that's probably just the opportunity he wanted to pose his second try, but he's not there, so they've turned it back inside, and again they just started to build the territory again, get themselves in that strike position that they. Here we go.
Ellis attacking the line, drops it to Logan Astley. Parga will play from dummy half on the halfway line to Chapelhow. Jay Chapelhow on this occasion. Good if they could wear their shirt numbers all the time, even out off the field, so we could tell them apart, the twins. But Jay on that occasion plays it, and Astley puts it up into the air. It's a good looking kick, but it's fielded well. Tommy Briley. And now Joe Hartley carries it away to the 8-metre line. And he's taken a knock. He's going to get up very slowly to play this ball. In fact, the referee is going to stop the game so that he can receive some treatment. And the official attendance here at Boundary Park has just been announced as 2,041. So a really good crowd inside the ground here at Boundary Park for this Easter Sunday clash. So many reasons to be optimistic. If you're an Oldham Rugby League fan at the moment, this scoreline certainly one that they'll enjoy into the bank holiday. I'll tell you what, Paul, whilst we've got a break in the play, where are you going for your Betfred player of the match?
You didn't give me any warning there, did you? I'm going to. I think Oldham have absolutely dominated the middle area of the field, but and I don't think there's been a particular standout performer within the Oldham team. I think it's been a relatively good team performance. However, I think there's been a bit of a captain's knock and a little bit of class every time he's touched the ball. For me, I would go with Jordan Turner. I think he's done his job and done it to a high standard, and that's what Oldham needs to do today to get the win.
Yeah, 2 tries for Jordan Turner. I've lost count of the amount of assists, but they've really favoured that left edge that he's on all game. He's been involved in a lot of the tries that they've scored. As Rochdale get a penalty. And Hollidge hoofs the ball into touch over halfway, so maybe one opportunity, a couple of opportunities, still a few minutes left in this game, but certainly a rare chance for Rochdale to get some field position and have a crack at this Oldham line. Not really had any attacking rugby at all from the Hornets in this second half. They've been stuck in defence mode on their own try line for so much of it, but they're rolling forward here. Whittle comes out the back. A really well hit line from Ben Forster, chopped down in the end, but just a warning shot as Openshaw comes out to the left. And they're stopped inside the 20. Probably the first time we've said that in the second half. Hollidge. He drops it off to Luke Nelms. Nelms is brought down 12 metres away. This is the last, but the first chance to put an attacking kick in this second half. Openshaw pokes it through, but Adam Lawson gets his goalkeeping gloves on, plucks it out the air, brings it in. Oldham survive. And now have to bring themselves off from their own territory for the first half. First time in this second half as Chapelhout carries up to the 15-metre mark. Turner. Paul's Betfred player of the match, of course, but he's lost it, but it's going to be a penalty for a ball steal. And Oldham with the opportunity to use this strong breeze, put the ball downfield and have another crack at the Rochdale line.
Yeah, what a great take from Lawton. Like you say, like a goalkeeper, wasn't he? But for such a big fella to get low there, desperation again to keep that line intact. So the one thing that Sean Long will be, well, other than the scoreline, the defensive aspect of the game for Oldham. They've controlled it pretty comfortably, but they've showed a little bit of desperation there when needed to as well. So, it would have been easy to let one slip in there and have a little bit of complacency, but professional to the end and a good effort there for Lawton as Oldham get the penalty and, again, probably get another opportunity now to hit that 50 mark.
So Craven puts the ball into touch on the halfway mark. Wait for a ball. A few have gone over the fence here, so to speak, so we do get back underway. Kopchak punches a hole through that Rochdale line. Next 15 or so metres. Barger out to Ellis to Chapelhout. He plays it to Wilder, who's back on. I think it's Logan Astley that's come off. Barger again. Out to Ellis. Ellis to Wildy. Just dropping that off to George Hurst. Hurst brought down 20 metres away.
You saw Keith that's come off, hasn't it? And Astley's dropped onto the wing.
Oh, yeah. No, you are right. On this near side, right in front of me. So dead centre. Parger at dummy half. Comes to the left. Wildy drops it off to Turner. Hunting for a hat-trick, but he gives it to Craven. Craven met well. This is the last.
Danny, play the ball! Go, 5.
So Parger brings it out to Ellis. Ellis takes it above his head. Astley now jumping into the line, puts a chip over the top. Taken well in the end by Straw here.
Move, Jordan! Onside.
And Rochdale again carrying the ball off their line. Openshaw darting out from play the ball. He drops it off to Lamek Juma. Juma brought down 25 metres away from his own try line. As the clock ticks down here at Boundary Park. Rochdale just running out of steam really in this second half. They've had a huge amount of defending to do. Always going to take its toll against the very fit, physical Oldham team. Brad Brennan has made good progress when he's carried the ball this afternoon. Max Flanagan puts the kick up, takes a tricky bounce, but in the end brought in like Ian Morgan. He'll play the ball on the 40-metre line. Ellis will drop it off to Wardle, who's been a willing carrier all game. Made some big meters, the former Lee man. Now Jay Chapelhouse carries it up towards the 40. Lawton again, punching a line and finding some space, and still going and rumbling forward, and he's going to score from 30 metres out. Adam Lawton finding himself in some space. Too big, too strong, and the speed to get himself over the line.
Yeah, I mean, that's fantastic, isn't it? What I will say, it came off a forward pass from dummy half, but however, it's that spot again, right behind the ruck. I think Adam Lawton, well, he's clearly a fantastic player, isn't he? And he looks to me like a type of player that when he wants to do it, he can just do it at the drop of a hat, and he stepped in at the right moment. And I was just going to say, this game looked like it was fizzling out, but he's just finished on an absolute high. And it's Adam Lawton who's beat about 4 men on his way to a 40-metre try there. It's great work from the big back rower.
And he's threatened to do that a few times this afternoon. He's been looking for those inside lines, found it on that occasion. The hoot has gone. So as Jamie Ellis knocked over the conversion, that will be that here at Boundary Park. Oldham 54, Rochdale 6. It was a lot closer than that scoreline suggests for a good 40-50 minutes of this game. But Oldham kicking on in the last half an hour, showing their class, showing why they were the pre-season favourites in Betfred League One, and stretching out to a comfortable win in the end.
So please join us in the fan bar now, where top local band, the Boundaries, will be playing a set.
So Oldham take the 2 points away from Boundary Park. Plenty of feeling in this game. Two teams gave absolutely everything. Rochdale won't like the scoreline, but Gary Thornton, I'm sure, will find plenty of positives in that performance from his side. Not least in the way that they defended. The amount of territory and possession and opportunity that Oldham had, you feel like that scoreline could have been even bigger than it was. Remind ourselves of how this game unfolded.
Yeah, just looking through this second half now, it's Craven though. They've threatened that shape on a couple of occasions this half, and Rochdale have shut it down, getting up high on edges, but this time they've given themselves enough time, enough space, enough depth to get that last pass away to that winger there. So it's Jordan Turner, the architect of that one. But then again, there's a soft spot, isn't it? There's one we spoke about all the time, and it's right up the middle. It's Morgan on this occasion, rather than the big middles breaking it up and softening it up the middle. But as I said, defenders too tight, heading out, so they become vulnerable, anything against the grain. And it was Jordan Turner who just skipped, bounced, beat a couple, and fantastic line from Chapelhouse, who boots the ball over the stand roof. He's so happy to score a try, and then they start getting a little bit sloppy, don't they? It's got soft there, in and around the middle now. Communication's dropped off. It's become very fractured. Here we go, Rochdale. One of the few opportunities, not the only opportunity they had to attack in the second half, and they make a bit of a hash of it against a fresh defensive side in Oldham there, and it's Mo Aguero who's showed a clean pair of heels and really lit up this Oldham crowd, 2,000 here, to witness this athlete go the length of the field and light up the second half. And it's this guy, the young substitute that came on, Parga. He just waited to score a try, didn't he? You could see he brought some energy to the team. They were already beating up the Rochdale, so a little bit fresh legs, sharp ball carrier, and he really did soften up this Rochdale team before the big man just brought it to a finish. It's Lawton though, who's like Lewis said, he's threatened all afternoon. He's been there and thereabouts. When he wanted to turn it on, he could, and he's finished this game in great style, hasn't he? He's come up with a 40-metre try. he's beat several men on his way to the try line, and you know, I think overall, I think Lawton in particular, he's showed some good defensive efforts. Just previous to that, 2 minutes earlier, he's done a goalkeeping save on the line to have some real discipline to defend his try line, and then he's come up when he needed to with a great moment to finish off this game in, like I said before, in fine style. I do feel sorry for the Rochdale team, and there's some green shoots there. I think they've been badly hit by injuries. Their entire spine, Ridyard, McNally, and then the young lad Lewis Ellis, who was playing fantastically well, I've got to say. Like I said before, the partnership with him and Miles Arup, something to look forward to and build upon. But to lose your entire spine and all your experience, all your composure, really did dampen any threat that Rochdale were going to pose against this really strong and experienced Oldham side. Physically strong in every department there, and ultimately it was a task too much for Rochdale to just defend the strong carries and field position. Field position just became a commodity, and Oldham eventually, well, they sharpened the tools, didn't they, and they executed in the right manner and got the tries that they always threatened to do so in that first half. But you could argue it could have been more, but both sides plenty to build on, and I'm sure both sides will get much better as the season progresses, and these fine sunny days start to progress as we go forward. Yeah, just looking at the atmosphere, we talk about the atmosphere today and what's in and around the Oldham, the appetite for rugby league, and on a higher level. As we watch now, all the Oldham players are still signing autographs, doing the selfies, and spending some time with the fans that are all stayed here at the end to clap on their team, and I'm sure they'll all be here on this journey as this team, hopefully, from their point of view, gets promotion. They fell short last year, but they've certainly built a new team, and they've got the backers now on the board, and there's a lot of positivity around this place. You can feel it when you come to the ground. It's a fantastic stadium. It's worthy of Championship, and if not Super League, as the ultimate goal is there and has been set out. So it's been a great day for Oldham, and I think Lewis has got some on-field interviews there, so we'll go over to him.
Well, there we have it at Boundary Park, a 54-6 win for Oldham, and I'm joined now by player of the match, Jordan Turner. Jordan, first and foremost, should be very pleased with the result, but what did you make of the performance?
Yeah, I think the main thing for us today was the performance. I think Rochdale came out in the start of the half, they rolled us down the hill a little bit, and we had to stem the flow, but really proud of the boys today and the performance that we put on, because like I said, they put us under some pressure and sort of tried to bully us a little bit, but we stood up to it, so I'm proud of my team today. Did you feel like it was a lot of the work that you did in the first half that allowed you to kick on in the second, in terms of the way that you made them play and made them do a lot of defending? Yeah, so we knew from the toss that we were sort of going to come up the hill this half, and they were going to try roll us a bit. There was a bit of wind as well, so it took a bit of toll on our kicking game, but like I say, we stemmed the flow, managed to post some points. We could have posted a few more in the first half, but credit to Rochdale's defence. We sort of ground them down, and then the start of the second half, it sort of paid dues for us in the second half. And you seem to direct a lot of traffic down that left edge, obviously yourself getting over for a couple of tries. You must be pleased with the way that those combinations are starting to build on that side? Yeah, that's it. We're a new team and a full set of new players. We're building them combos as we go along. We've had to rejig a few things with our spine, but it's sort of coming along now. And as I said, it's not really the result today, it's what we got out of it. We'll dissect it and look where we can improve, but there's some very good signs there. And obviously a derby, an Easter weekend derby in front of a really strong crowd here. It feels like there's such a kind of positive vibe and atmosphere around the club at the moment. Yeah, there is. There's been some good foundations put in place for us now, and the boys on the field at the minute, we're getting the job done. We need to make sure that we're playing well this whole season. The aim for this club has always been this season to get out of this league, which is going to be a bit of a tough ask, but we've got the squad and we've got the infrastructure to do it now, so it's all up to us players on the pitch, and that'll do as well today.
Yeah, you've been pretty open and bold about your ambitions this season. Does it feel like you've made the first real positive steps in the early rounds of the season? Yeah, we did. Look, we had a couple of good wins in the cup, and then that sort of it fell off a bit with the losses to York and Swinton. But that was a bit of a reality check that made us realise that we had a bit more work to do. And look, we've still got work to do. I don't think this league's not going to be a formality for us. We need to keep striving and working hard, because there's a target on our back, and we need to make sure that we're on song every week. How important is it going to be to turn this place into a fortress? Yeah,
that's the aim, and look, it's a great place to play. So the aim is to bring people back to this ground like there was 10-20 years ago, and results and performances like that will bring people back.
Well, Jordan, thank you for joining us. You are the Betfred player of the match. I'm just going to bring in your head coach now, Sean Long. Sean, you must be really pleased with the... No? Yeah, you can get yourself away, mate. You go and enjoy it. Sean, you must be really pleased with the way that Jordan and your team performed today.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, we had the week off last week, and we needed to fix a few things, and give them a bit of time off, regroup and refresh, and they come out and ask for an 80-minute performance, and I pretty much got it.
And you were kept pretty honest, throughout that first half and into the second half against the Rochdale team that really made you, win your points.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, they got stuck into us early doors for the first 25 minutes, and we knew it was going to be a battle. It's a local derby. It's it is what it is. But I was really chuffed about only conceding one try. That was the main pleasing thing for me. I know we scored 54, whatever, but only conceding the 6 is the main thing.
It was noticeable the way that you kind of interchanged your spine with Danny Craven dropping into fullback, Astley coming into the line. It gives you a lot of extra kind of attacking options when you've got that versatility, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And we have Jamie running in the show, and then they can float between the fullback and standoff. Also, as well, I thought, like I said at the start, I thought our middles set the platform for us. And then JT got the spoils, with the tries and stuff like that. I thought the middles were good. I thought it was a good, couldn't fault anyone really, if I'm being honest. I thought it was a good performance.
Must be really pleasing as a coach to be able to kind of roll your bench in the way that you did as well, and you never really lost any momentum as you went through the changes today.
Yeah, I only made 2 subs in the first half, and we were down to 12 men. We're copy against Simbin, and like I said, we was quite resilient in our efforts in D, so it was all good.
Where are the improvement areas for this team as we roll on?
It's hard, really. You know what I mean? You want to improve in areas all the time, and I think probably the improvements you touched on, which was good. I still think we've got a bit of improvements in our spine, with a bit of cohesion and stuff like that, coming from different systems, which I spoke about. But I think we can get a bit more cohesion in our spine.
Well, Sean, I'll let you go and catch up with your players. We'll bring Paul Rowley back in.
Hi, Rolls. Hey, don't.
Paul, a comprehensive win in the end for Oldham. They'll be very pleased with the way that they kind of ground them down. But what do you take out of that from an Oldham perspective? We expected them to get the result today. What did you make of the performance?
Well, they were obviously dominant, weren't they, in every facet of the game, ultimately, and then on the scoreline to finish. But I also think that they'll consider that they've got another 20-30% left in them, and they'll need that as well if they want to get the big games done at the end of the year. But it's early in the season, it's the first dry pitch they've probably played on, and they've posted 50 odd points, so it's not the finished article, but if you're posting 50 odd points and you've got 30% left, then you're in good shape, aren't you? So there'll be plenty to work on, but they'll be very positive about all the simple things, or the basic things in the games, running hard and tackling hard and keeping your try line intact. So it was a good performance from them.
From a Rochdale perspective, they'll be bruised by the scoreline, of course, but I kind of get the sense that the way that they stuck to it, the principles that they went through in the game, will put them in reasonable stead in this competition.
Yeah, I don't think as a club, Rochdale, they're not under no illusions that it's, there's going to have tough days this year. They've got a younger squad, they've got so many players missing, so influential players as well. So I actually think there's a lot to be positive about from a Rochdale perspective. I think we've seen two great historical clubs here today, very, very proud and very ambitious. So from a Rochdale point of view, I think they've got something to build from. There's some little combinations in there. They've got the better players to come back as well. So and what we did see in the Rochdale side is plenty of pride, and they really didn't ever stop fighting and to try to keep their try line intact. But Oldham were just too big, too strong, too experienced, and too much quality in the end.
And we saw last season in the playoffs of this competition some real drama and excitement. We didn't really get that from a drama perspective today, but an indication that there's some real quality at this level.
Yeah, definitely, and I think we kind of knew when we seen the teams on the team sheet, and that it was going to be a tough task for Rochdale, but. Again, we're at a good stadium. There was over 2,000 in the house there watching the two sides, and there was plenty of quality, like you say. The halfback Else, who came off with his damaged arm. Hopefully it's not fractured, and we get some good news on that. I thought he was particularly good, and Miles Arapis combination, them two together on this left edge, taking all them short sides. Well, that's something to be positive about for Rochdale. But Oldham again. From number 1 to number 17, really. In fact, number 18, they've just signed PLT on loan as well. So they've got a strong squad from top to bottom, and Jordan Turner got the man of the match for me. It could have gone to anybody, but I just felt he kept his game simple and provided quality, and he looked a little bit cut above everybody else.
Well, Rolls, as ever, been an absolute pleasure having you with us, and thank you for joining us here at Boundary Park for this Betfred League One game. It's Oldham who take the 2 points as they roll on. Of course, keep your eyes out across our social media. We've got some big announcements on the way for more fixtures, more live rugby league here on the Sportsman. And make sure you hit that subscribe button. Plenty more content on the way. We'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us. That is a remarkable finish.
Burke goes for the corner, and Leah Burke's in. And in Tamsin Renew, the pass from Holly Dodd.
And this could be the first goal of the game, because London are going to get there and touch down. He's gone for the same ball, and it's going to work.
Beautiful.
They might score the winner. And North Wales have another.
Brings it up to the line, drops it off to Hazard, who reaches through.
Back this year.